Hey loves, welcome back to the channel. My name's Kyle August, and obviously we're here to help you manifest in the quickest and easiest way possible. So today I wanted to talk about something I was actually thinking about that is super important when it comes to getting back into contact with your specific person, because we obviously know that's going to happen. If you assume the state, it absolutely must happen. But there's something that actually occurs in which, so if you're in an on and off relationship, this is usually what happens. So you get into the state, right? You meet up with your specific person, you assume the state, you're obviously going to get with them. And then when you see them, you begin assuming the same exact characteristics that you assumed upon them in the past, right? And this is kind of what causes that on and off relationship going on or back and forth over and over again. But obviously that's something that we don't want. And I've definitely talked about that idea on the channel a couple different times, but today I wanted to kind of go into further detail with that because it's like really important. So the idea also kind of combines that and then also the idea of like conservative and then creative manifestation. And I'll go over that really quick because we're combining the two to make your manifestation much easier. So the idea behind a conservative manifestation, when Neville Goddard would talk about conservative manifestation, that's reiterating your current reality. So if you keep restating your name as it is, keep assuming the same assumptions, keep looking at your external reality for confirmation, you're going to end up with this conservative manifestation, which I always say is going to work very well when it comes to the time that you manifest your specific person. You're actually seeing them in your reality in the exact way that you want. In that case, everything's perfect and we can utilize everything outside of us to kind of get into that state. But then the second type of manifestation is creative manifestation. And this is actually when we begin to create or think upon a new reality or a new outcome. So let's say right now you are thinking of you're thinking upon your specific person, and you move that from thinking of the end to thinking from the end. So you really put yourself into a reality that you may not feel like you have right now. That's going to be creative manifestation. Here's where it's going to relate right now into helping you manifest with your specific person as soon as possible. So when it comes to the conservative and then the creative manifestation, if you have been with this person, or this is something you're very familiar with, because right, a lot of the times our specific people or the people we want to manifest are someone we know of and we really want them in our life, right? Because we know a lot about them. But this begins to create assumptions, right? Because if you know a lot about someone, you kind of have a list of things you're like, I think this person is this way, or they're that way, or they do this thing that I don't like, right? Which we want to completely get rid of. But if you have a lot of memories with this person, so let's say that you want to manifest someone you've been friends with for years, or you've dated in the past, or you just know a lot about them or are very familiar with them. In that case, if we want to feel into the state, and a lot of people ask, okay, how do I actually feel into that end state? There's something that we do automatically when it comes to someone we know of or are very familiar with. We begin to draw upon memories, right? So we think the last time I was hanging out with my specific person, the last time we were together, we went on a date, I'm just going to think upon that time, right? And it's very logical, makes a lot of sense. But this actually begins to constitute or create conservative manifestation. And I'll give you a couple examples of this. So when we begin to draw upon memories, we're putting ourselves back into a previous state, right? So we're back into the state that we were before. So we take on all of our beliefs, limiting beliefs, assumptions that we had during that time. And sometimes we don't really want that. But again, that kind of creates that on and off relationship that may not be the best thing ever. So instead, and you can actually use memories to utilize this idea, we want to think and create new things or new encounters, new adventures with your specific person or your friend, whoever it is that you want to be more in contact with. You want to create new things, new memories, and you can actually utilize past memories to really get into that easy feeling, but switch them ever so slightly. So let's say you and your specific person's, your first date that you ever met was putt-putt golf or something, and you really enjoy that memory, and it's something that you would like to recreate. Well, in that case, Imagine yourself, again, because you can create a new adventure, a new reality. Imagine you and your specific person going on a putt-putt golf date, but it's new and you kind of reminisce, maybe on it, reminisce about the first time that you ever kind of met, right? That would instantly make this new scene completely new. And then you'll find that it's much easier to assume that state or assume any sort of or get rid of any limiting beliefs you had, or you can then create or place upon them all the new assumptions. Because an example would be, let's say your specific person didn't want commitment in the past. And that, again, that reminds you of that past relationship or it could be throw in any characteristic you want. If that's how they were previously, and then you shoot yourself into a memory, that's going to be the overwhelming state. So again, going back to that example, if your specific person didn't really want commitment in the past, and then you go back to a memory of the version of them that you saw, again, that was showing up as not wanting commitment, you're going to instantly be forced and thrown back into that, right? It's going to be automatic because with that person in your past, because again, past and future don't really exist, but we're assuming that state and we're going to see them show up in the same exact way. But instead, if you see them showing up as you're going on your new putt-putt golf date and you imagine them as completely new, it's going to be much easier to create or change those assumptions, right? Because then as they're showing up as a new person, our logical mind kind of is like, okay, I could see them as being different, right? But our mind kind of has this limiting belief when it comes to the past that we feel like we can't really change it. So imagine it as happening as new, because again, that's one of the main things I always say whenever someone is manifesting someone they're super familiar with, is that we need to let go of those previous and past assumptions that we had upon them. And if we don't, it's only going to reiterate that past. But that's like I always say too, because this is something I use in my coaching sessions as well. I always say, if you want to create a new reality or assumption with someone, your specific person, imagine you are creating an entirely new relationship, right? And the metaphor, which I put in a video a long time ago, and I'm going to say it here because I really, really like it. It's almost like you're painting a picture, right? So imagine you have a picture metaphorically of you and your specific person's relationship, right? So all of your past memories, whatever it is in this picture, right? And let's say then time kind of moved or states kind of changed and you've seen in your reality something different happened and you guys kind of separated and you wanted to draw back together. But let's say again, this relationship wasn't perfect and you wanted to kind of change or alter things about it. Then in this case, you would imagine, if you imagine yourself back into that, or imagine as the metaphor, you're going to erase some things off of that picture, right? So let's say in the picture, your specific person, it shows them as not reaching out to you all the time. So in the picture, you erase it and you want to draw over that they're always in commitment to you. And I know this might not make sense at first, but I'm going to connect it all at the end. But let's say your specific person was not that way and you want to change it. So again, it's like erasing part of the picture and then drawing what you want over it. But, so again, think of that in the relationship. So in our mind, when we're manifesting someone, we think of bringing them back, but as changed. But what happens, go take out a piece of paper, get some colored pencils, and then that might even be a fun exercise. And then draw a picture you want, but then erase it and try to draw over it. What is left on the paper? You would say, even though you can't see the picture, there's still little indentations from that past drawing that you had. And that's what we get from attempting to bring our specific person from the past. We're erasing things, we're trying to alter things, but there's still that little indentation within our mind, that limiting belief, that's looking at or still seeing that in them or worrying that could be a possibility. One of the major things that I help people kind of manifest out of, if it's like a past, is if they're asked to be kind of like did something bad, like broke up with them or cheated on them, something like that. That is something that is when you think about limiting beliefs and circumstances, that's going to be heavy on your mind, right? And if you just think you're going to erase that and draw over it, it's going to always be this little indentation in there. But, so here's where the metaphor, where I want you guys to do differently. Instead of erasing, the previous picture and then drawing over it. What I want you to do is take a new picture out and draw your new story. That's like looking at your relationship and acting as if it is completely new. You are creating a new relationship with your specific person, and it completely is disconnected from that old story. That's, again, because Neville Goddard and Joseph Murphy would always talk about this. When it comes to manifestation, you are creating a new story. You're disconnecting from that past. You're not taking anything with you. Your old state is dying out, right? So that's what we need to do with that previous relationship as well. So the idea is we don't want to use memories to bring or manifest our specific person, because that puts us into a conservative manifestation state, or brings back or reiterates what we feel is already here. Instead, switch over to the creative manifestation. And if you must use a memory, I would create it in a way that it's completely different or new, using the same kind of senses. So again, the putt-putt golf idea, you're still at the putt-putt golf course, but instead of it being your first date and you're remembering that, you guys are reminiscing about that first date, talking about, maybe your SP is talking about how much they changed or how much they actually desire you or want you or whatever it is that you want. Try that out and you are going to get much, much better results. I guarantee it, because again, it's all about assuming the new state, not reiterating the old, because again, the past or the previous relationship only is going to create an on and off relationship. But let me know if you guys have any questions about that. Leave it in the comment section below. If you also wanted to reach out to me for one-on-one coaching, or just had a personal question you wanted to ask me, head over to kyleaugustcoaching.com. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up on this video if you really enjoyed it. Hopefully this video wasn't too shaky, because I took my phone, I put it on like a tripod thing. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe too, so you guys don't miss any videos helping, or me helping you manifest your specific person. And I'll see you in the next video.